Hi, it's Big V and we're talking teams, and today we're talking about recruiting. How do we actually recruit experienced agents to join our team? There's this mass effort in the real estate business right now for people to figure out where to hang their license where they can get the highest return on their time. Many agents go to the cheapest brokerage. Some people just want to hang their license somewhere. Other people are attracted to service and mentoring. So instead of saying what it is that I need to do to attract and recruit experienced agents, what if you put yourself in their shoes and said, what would I want if I were looking to hang my license somewhere? What are the things that you would be looking for? I think that recruiting is not what most people think it is. I like the word attraction better than recruiting. People are recruiting or trying to talk you into coming to work with them. When you build an attractive brokerage, attractive team, and attractive business, people select you and want to come work for you. I want you to think of the online dating world that we live in, and people go on their dating apps and they swipe one way or another whether or not they like you. Are you attractive enough that a potential agent would swipe right and select you? If not, how do you put your best foot forward? That's the world we live in. So recruiting is attraction. It's not trying to talk someone into joining you. The whole concept of attraction is building a business that's attractive. Now, I think that most people don't need recruiting techniques or recruiting, secrets to success. I think they just actually need to do some. Most people have recruiting that is not, let's just say that when we built our latest recruiting program, we built it and we called it Jolt. And the reason we called it Jolt is because in my mind, I have this vision of your recruiting laying on a gurney and it's dead. And I've got to bring it into the defibrillator and I've got to charge it up and then I've got to give it a jolt to bring it back to life. It's not that your recruiting's not working. It's that you're not doing it. It's laying on the gurney dead and it needs a jolt. So let's give our recruiting a real jolt, and let's do it using Ogmandino's greatest salesman in the world. Now, what are your goals for recruiting? What is it you're reaching out for? What are you really wanting to accomplish? Let me share with you what Ogmandino says about your goals. He says, today, I will multiply my value 100-fold. He says, I'm likened unto a grain of wheat, which has three futures. The wheat cannot choose whether it's fed to swine, whether it's ground into bread, or whether it's planted in the earth. I have the choice. Basically, in his story, he talks about a grain of wheat that has three options. He says the first option is I can take the wheat and I can put it into pig slop and I can feed it to the pigs. The second option is I can take my wheat and I can grind it into bread and it can be devoured by others. And the third option is I can take one grain of wheat, I can plant it in the soil, I can nurture it and watch it grow, and one grain of wheat can become thousands. The difference between you and a grain of wheat is the grain of wheat didn't get to choose, and you get to choose. Do you want to be devoured by others? Do you want to be fed to swine, or do you want to be planted in the earth with the ability to grow and to be able to flourish and to be able to bring people in through your attraction? He says, I will multiply my value 100-fold. Are your recruiting goals consistent with the concept of growing your value 100 times? You'll hear me say all the time when I'm working with my clients, well, what are your goals? What are they? What would happen if we doubled it? And people's eyes roll back in their head and they're like, double it? How can I ever double it? Ogmandino says you're weak sauce. Double it's nothing. How about you times it by 100? What would that look like? What if you took all of your goals and you times them by 100? What would that mean to you financially? What kind of a difference would that make in your business and in your life? He says, today I will multiply my value 100-folds. He said, this will be the standard for which I live in the future. Never will I be of concern that my goals are too far. Is it not better to aim my spear at the moon and strike only an eagle than to aim at an eagle and strike a rock? Today I will multiply my value 100-fold. He goes on to say, the height of my goals will not hold me in awe, though I may stumble often before they are reached. If I stumble, I will rise, and my falls will not concern me, for all men and women must stumble before they reach the hearth. Only a worm is free of stumble, and I am not a worm. I am not a sheep. I am a man. I am a woman. Let others build a cave with their clay, and I will build a castle with mine. I will multiply my value 100-fold. He goes on to say, and I will multiply my value 100-fold, and when it's done, I'll do it again and again and again, and there will be greatness in these scrolls as they're fulfilled within me. In order to multiply your value, you have to multiply your actions. And to multiply your actions, you have to multiply your knowledge. And as you multiply your knowledge, you become more successful. As you become more successful, you become more attractive. So as you think about recruiting, the biggest attractor is success. So are you putting your business, your team, are you putting signs in yards? Are you doing the things that let the market know this is the place where successful people get together? This is the place where the elite hang out. This is the place where we mentor people who want to be at the top. This is the place where you can multiply your value 100-fold. One of my favorite recruiting tools is a tool we use called the Success Probability Index. It's a literal spreadsheet that goes in. If it was a broker owner, if I wanted to recruit you to my office or my team, I would call you up and I would say, hi, this is Verl. Is it possible there could be another level that you could be performing at? What do you think most people say to that? Well, yes. Say, I'm not saying I can help you and I'm not saying I couldn't, but I do have this really cool assessment that if I go through with you might give us clarity on what the gaps are that are keeping you from going to that next level. There's no cost, there's no obligation. I would love to sit down and do the Success Probability Index with you. Would you be open to an hour? If they say no, it's totally fine. If they say yes, then you say, right, you want to do it in the morning or afternoon? Let's go somewhere that's comfortable for you. And then when we go in with the Success Probability Index, in the index, we break down what are the things you have in your CRM? What are all the resources you use? What are all the features you use? How well are they done? And we score each of those activities. Then we look at your business management. Then we look at your accounting. Then we look at your marketing. We look at your virtual real estate. With each one of these tabs, we do a deep dive on all of the possible activities and the features you should be implementing to have operational excellence in your business. Most people can't multiply their value to double, let alone 100-fold, because operationally, they don't have the ability to scale. As a broker owner, as a team leader, as someone recruiting, I can sit down, do an AMP scorecard, and I can clearly identify where the gaps are. And then here's what's really cool. We have training in BAM, AMP, SLAM, and RAMP that then teaches them how to fill each of those gaps. So I'll let them go through the gaps. And then again, once a month or once a quarter, I'll meet with that same agent again. We'll rescore each of those things and see if they're making progress. By helping them progress and by serving, regardless of the opportunity, we found that our recruiting goes on steroids, that people become more attracted to us because we're interested in them. When you have the goal of increasing your value 100-fold, you completely look at business differently because you know that in order to grow, you must first learn how to serve. If you'd like a copy of the Success Probability Index, or what we call the AMP Scorecard, it is right here. It's at the bottom of the video. Go down and click on it, and then tell me in the comments whether or not you're going to actually use it. First, I'm going to recommend do it with yourself. Go in and score all your stuff, and then do it with somebody else who knows your business well, that's willing to ask the questions and practice it with somebody else. If you're struggling, having a hard time figuring it out, then click on the link for a free coaching consultation. Let one of our business consultants help you with your AMP scorecard as you figure out what your gaps are to the next level. Remember, you can multiply your value by double, and as Ogmandino says, multiply your value by 100-fold. You can if you choose to do the work. Are you ready and are you willing?